All right, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. For those that don't know me, I think there's a couple people that probably don't know me. My name is Jake Samp. I'm the vice president, and I am the new director of right here. I am the new director of umpire development for the Corn Belt Umpires Association. I previously was the director of operations. Jay Rolfs in the back has taken over for me as the director of operations. Which will allow me to focus on umpire development more. And it just kind of follows that mantra: don't half-ass two things, whole-ass one thing. I'm gonna try to keep this as short and sweet as possible tonight, because who doesn't want it to be short and sweet? We'll kind of talk about what's going on at the state level, talk about our association quick, and then just a couple rule topics that, as a local organization, the board's kind of decided are going to be points of emphasis for us for this year. So as far as, and then I got contact info. Suds, I didn't have your email, so I will. We'll send out Suds' email later on. But this is our board. And then as far, I omitted the SCUA slide. If anybody's been to the Chamberlain meeting before, it was same stuff, different year, which is increasingly more frustrated when we're trying to affect change here at the local level. The most frustrating and disappointing part for me was all the leadership was reelected unanimously without opposition. And fast too. Yeah. Right. So every 2 years, the president is up for election. There are a lot of people in here that are working with us because they're frustrated with how things are being run at the state level. Please make it a point to get to the SDUA meeting. We had 4 people that were there. February 1, 2025 is going to be the date. Okay. There are things that we have been able to get done at the state level over the last 2 years. One of the things that, if you read your emails or you have talked to me, rather than getting OBR rule books, we're handing out high school rule books. 85% of baseball in South Dakota, and frankly all of Iowa, is high school rules. It doesn't make sense anymore to keep buying OBR when half the rules in it don't even apply. They'll be handed out at the district meeting. Yes, if you went to our January 20th clinic and you're not planning on attending, either contact your district umpire or email Jesse Devine and he will mail you a copy. I've already had one guy reach out and say, I need a rule book. I shot Jesse a text and said, hey, can you mail a rule book to so-and-so? Or if you prefer a digital PDF version, talk to me. Or you should get one with your Iowa registration. He hasn't done anything yet. I've talked to him. He has the list, and I confirmed with him that he has the list. As far as our organization goes, mentorship is going to be the big focus this coming year. We have implemented a mentorship program. I've sent out emails to everybody that is going to be involved as a mentor. And so that's going to be, there's a bunch of different phases. We've done a Zoom clinic on what our mentorship program is going to look like. I'm not going to sit and bore you guys for those that were already on our Zoom calls. As I said before, I resigned as the director of operations and now I just handle the umpire development, still in my role as the vice president as well. And Jay in the back is our director of operations. In exciting news, we had to zoom the map out even more. Our footprint has expanded all the way up to Watertown now. We will be handling a signing for Watertown. Okay, so we'll have part of the Watertown, but as you can see, we have such a huge footprint. So, being able to travel, and one thing that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and I'll show you guys how to use the master file here later on. Game fees are about where we were at. I think we went up $5, didn't we, for some of them? So some game fees went up. Otherwise, I mean, we still pay the most. And then we'll talk about how to use the master file, trying to keep everything centralized and be more organized. Points of emphasis for this year. This is a combination of NFHS rules or NFHS points of emphasis that were announced, I think, last month. And then just some stuff that we've seen over the off season. Our board, we've met with a handful of the associations that we assigned for, and we've gotten feedback from them as far as where they see shortcomings or where they think we as a organization can improve. Strike zones was the number one complaint that we had, and it's not the size of the strike zones; it's the consistency. So what they were upset about was we're going 2 balls outside, and we're shutting down the inside corner. If you're going to go off to, like, it's got to be balanced in and out and up and down. I know a couple years ago we talked about strike zone philosophy, and really, review the rule book. This pitch right here, that is a strike. And I'll tell you, at the college level, they want us to go get this as a strike. That is a strike. Even at the Legion level, go get this pitch as a strike. Okay? Midpoint between the belt and the top of the shoulders, that's a strike. And if they want to sit and yell, you can't argue balls and strikes. Collision rule. We're going to have a Zoom clinic next Wednesday on the collision rule. I've had one game, and I've already had to eject one player over the collision rule. Pace of play. That is an NFHS guide or NFHS point of emphasis as well. The 120 or the minute 20 between innings. And then there is a pitch clock that the high school has. I did talk to Brock Sundahl and Chad Barman with the High School Baseball Association. There is not plans to enforce the pitch clock in South Dakota as far as high school is concerned. What they have said is use good preventative umpiring. If you have read, stall, and delay on the hill, tell the catcher to go out there and tell them to hurry up. Okay. We have the 20-second rule in our back pocket that we can use, but it's not you guys need to start enforcing it. It is a tool in our toolkit as umpires that we have. So the NFHS rule is 120. So but yep, right, and I mean, give them 5 pitches and get them moving. I don't want to sit through any more 2-hour 7-inning games than I have to. So keep moving. Box for me, when we were discussing what to talk about, I don't like talking about box simply because there are so many things about box that can get confusing. So there's just 2 points that we want to hit on as an association. Can anybody tell me what the rule is for a no-stop balk? What is required for a pitcher to become legally set? Okay. Okay, I've heard a pause. I've heard discernible stop. Complete and discernible stop. You are my brother. Yeah, so a complete and discernible stop. So that is not a complete and discernible stop. No, go get it. Go get it. We're paid here to enforce the rules. The rule is they have to come to a complete and discernible stop. Make them stop. I mean, they can come here and go, but they have to stop moving, and their whole body has to stop as well. Disengagements. Two things on that. If they're in the windup, they have to step off with their right-handed. Right foot. Yeah, right foot if they're right-handed has to be the first movement off. If it's the left and then they go right, that's a balk. The other thing with disengagements, if today we had a fantastic clinic on ball status and base awards led by Brad Haar. If we have a situation where we do have a balk that could be nullified by the pitcher legally disengaging the rubber, get together and get it right. That is something that we absolutely can get together on. And that leads right into rule application. Know the rule book. I have PDFs of the high school rule book. Jesse has hard copies of the NFHS rule book. There's no reason that we should be misapplying rules. Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't. I. I would just say if he didn't step off, I mean, the base umpire has that concentration. You don't even. I mean, you don't even need a signal in that situation because base umpire has that concentration. If they step off, well, they're not calling a balk. So that just implies that they're not calling a balk. Crew communication and consultation. We're going to talk more about that here in a minute. Actually, we're going to talk about it right now. Okay. I have had multiple people and associations stress this, and I cannot stress it enough. Okay. 24 to 36 hours before a game, reach out to your home site. If I hear one more time that Jay, Jake, or Mark didn't tell me that my game was canceled, I am going to lose my mind. We have a list of all these coaches' contacts. I am working with Class A and high school to get a list for all of South Dakota. There is no reason that you should not have the communication to be able to send, somebody at, Harrisburg or Brandon or T a message to say, hey, this is what's up. So we'll do a little demonstration here. So Roush and I are working a game. Okay. And we're working tomorrow night. And I send Jake a text and say, hey, Jake, you and me tomorrow at wherever, what color, and then confirm the start time. I got a 5 o'clock first pitch. I'm going to get there about 4:15. I got the first plate, and we're obviously wearing black because nothing good ever happens in blue. So send that text message to your partner. Let them know. Jake might. So after I have confirmation from Jake, he said, yep, good to go. Then I find out, I look up who my point of contact is for whatever team I'm working. And I send them a message. Hey, Jake Roush and I are going to be your crew for tomorrow. We have a 5 o'clock first pitch. We're playing 2 games. We're going to arrive at 4:15. We're going to park in the right field corner and change. We will meet. We will come onto the field to check in when we arrive. Okay? Check in at the field. Let them know you're here. It is a fantastic first impression when you can walk up to somebody and go, hi, Mark, I'm one of your umpires today. My partner's in the parking lot. It's a great first impression. I realize I have long legs, so I might have estimated a little low on 3 minutes, but it doesn't take that long. One thing that I like to do is after I check in with the site admin, confirm your plate meeting time. Hey, Mark, we're going to go a plate meeting at, or first off, do you have lineups and anthem today? Then we'll do the plate meeting. Okay. So lineups and anthem at 4:50. We'll do plate meeting afterwards. Great. I'm going to go talk to the other coach too. Hi, Scott. I'm one of the umpires today. We're going to go 4:50 plate meeting or lineups anthem, and then we'll do the plate meeting, and we'll get underway at 5 o'clock. Any questions? Nope. Great. 10 minutes before or whatever time it is that you agree on. My personal preference, I'm an 8-minute. I'm a 52 type guy, so I always do my plate meeting at 52 if I can. Some people like to do it at 10. It's easier. For some reason, it's 8 minutes for me. Does anybody have questions about this? Yep. Just let me know too. Absolutely. Any other questions on that? Okay. I was asked to talk about signals. So, and this isn't going to be, this is time. This is play. We're going to talk about pre-pitch signals and how we communicate rotations. If you look in like the high school mechanics book, they say this means rotation. No, we keep it simple. For me, number of outs, 1, 2, 0. And so if I'm on the plate with nobody on, I just point like I'm staying here, like normal business as usual. If I got a runner on first, just cross the body and pound the hammer at third. Because if we have a clean hit to the outfield, I, as the plate umpire, I am rotating third if we have a play. R1, R2. Anybody know what the rotation is for R1, R2? There's one rotation that we would have with R1 and R2 less than 2 outs. Well, yeah, but why do we? Why? But why? Okay, you are absolutely correct. Why do we signal that? Okay. Yep. So fly ball, double tag situation, plate umpire is going to rotate in that situation. So a couple different ways you can do it, but just for me, this is tag or tag with 1 out, 2 outs. Well, there wouldn't be a 2-out tag, but and then I point to where I'm going. R1, R3. Obviously, we're still rotating to third, so I'm going to say I'm here, and then I'm going to third with whatever number of outs we have. R2 only, I mean, there's no rotation, so we're just here. R3 only, same thing, as well as R2, R3, and bases loaded. We don't really have rotation signals. Infield fly, I don't care what you use for an infield fly signal, just make it uniform. So if you're gonna go here and then you're gonna go into your signals and whatnot, that's fine. If you're gonna go here, you're gonna go here, that's fine. Or my favorite one, because he's here, we'll do Rich's. I love Rich's infield fly signal. It's my favorite. So, but just if I'm going here and you're going here, that looks stupid. Just make sure we're using the same signal. Base umpire goes out in 2 weeks from today. We will be having our Zoom clinic on catch, no catch responsibilities and outfield fly ball coverage. If you go out, right hand in the air, point to the sky, I'm going out, and say it loud. That is the only proper way to do it. Okay? And do the verbal communication as well with it. I'm going out and yell it. Obviously, we're in an establishment, so I'm not going to yell. But communication in my mind says, hey, we're here, we're prepared, and we know what we're doing. It's a good way to build a little bit of credibility. If you got two guys that are, hammering signals and they're communicating and they're talking. Any questions on pre-pitch signals? I realize this is review for a lot of us. Yeah. I'll say this right now. I have a college baseball game on Saturday with Connor Singheisen, or Sunday with Connor Singheisen. Okay. I have lost count how many college games I've worked with Connor. But if you check in on the live stream, you will see Connor and I still signaling, even though I already know for a fact where Connor's going to be. I mean, there's not a situation where I couldn't say, okay, in this situation, Connor's going to be right here. I've worked with him that much. We're still going to signal. So signal. It looks good. And there's no reason not to. Yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So if you're working with somebody new, absolutely say, hey, Mike, I'm, here. But Mark brought up a really good point that I totally glossed over. So thank you. When you signal, you are saying, this is what I am doing. I always communicate what I'm doing. Jake, Justin, Mark, anybody I'm working with, you're telling me this is what I'm doing. And I reciprocate with this is what I'm doing. So thank you. There is no specific time that you have to give signals. Like, when I first got to the college level, there was this huge emphasis on wait for the catcher to be down before you signal. No, with everything that we got going on now, just make eye contact, get the signals in, and get them out of the way, and turn your focus to whatever we got. As far as when you need to signal, new batter, or whenever there is a change, there's an offensive change on the field. So runners on first, steals second. Okay, I'm going to communicate this is what I'm doing now because we have a change of what's going on the field. Anything else? Fantastic. All right, rule changes. You're going to hear this a lot because they're new. Yes, this is high school only. Legion has not decided whether they're adopting these rules yet. I don't know when their meeting is, but yeah. One-way electronic communication is legal. There was some issues last year with it. The National Federation said, yes, that is okay. My advice on this is leave it alone until you hear the catcher start whispering back. If you hear the catcher whispering back, they're probably not talking to themselves, especially if it's like, hey, where do you want this next pitch at? Like, that's not talking to yourself. That's talking to a coach. So, one way communication is perfectly fine. If they're having issues with it, give them time. I will tell you the electronic communication, it speeds the game up. It does. And it's a lot better. It's a lot faster than, the catcher throws the ball back and stares into the dugout for God knows how long. And then we got to relay the signal. It's just, whatever, boom. Okay. And then they give their signals and we move on. So Oh, I'm on the wrong one. All right. Yeah, okay, sorry. This is the earpiece one. I read communication equipment. There's two communication equipment rules. So my bad. This is the one that we're talking about right now. No, the pitcher cannot wear it. It is only the catcher that is allowed to use this. Okay. Um, Everything else I said is correct on this, but I just had the wrong slide up. So I'm going to go back a slide here and we'll talk about this. We all know what the football quarterback wristband is, right? Okay. I'm so glad that they updated this in the rule book because midway through the season last year, they sent out an interpretation of this rule as it reads right now, but nobody got the memo except for a handful of us. And I ran into so many issues with this. I mean, I almost had to forfeit a game because I had a coach that was just being a jackass about this. Because, well, we could do it at Legion. Yes, because Legion's not high school rules, but 16U Class B is. So you got to know your rule book. If they have the wristband, it cannot be on their belt. It cannot be in their back pocket. It's called a wristband for a reason. It has to be on the wrist. It's got to be on the wrist. No, play cards are still fine in the back pocket. It's the fact that if it's in the quarterback wristband sleeve, you know what I'm talking about. So, but what they saw was there's a lot of kids that were putting it on their belt here or in their back pocket. It's got to be on the wrist. Make them put it on the wrist. The easiest way to build credibility. I mean, I don't want to take complaints about umpires. But if I got to sit and listen to some coach complain that my umpire is enforcing the rules as written, my response is to be, why are you complaining? They're enforced, like the rules are being enforced. They're doing their job. And that's going to be a very quick phone call. Enforce the rules. Yeah, what's up? Warn and then dump them. It's that simple. And yeah, team warning. Yeah, it's a team warning. Failure to comply is an ejection. Yep. And yep. No, the first. Yeah. So after the warning, it's player and head coach. Player and head coach. And yes. Yep. Pitchers have to have the Velcro, single color, solid color. Any questions on communication stuff? This is just their lawyers made them put this in here. It's the exact same stuff that we just talked about. It's just in a different part of the rule book. This is one of the many reasons why I hate the high school rule book, because rules are duplicated and repeated. There's no reason that this rule needs to be in the rule book because it's already covered in 1-6. Only on a written warning. If you issue a written warning, yes, they're restricted. But this is a verbal warning, and if they do not comply, the next offender and the head coach are going. I am so glad that they got rid of this spectator word in this, okay? Umpires have always had jurisdiction over the confines of the field. What goes on in the stands, that is not our authority, not our jurisdiction, not our problem, okay? This is also why this rule, aside from just good communication, this rule is why we are getting contacts for these different towns. Because then when you show up, you know who your site contact is in case you need a spectator removed. If there is no site contact, it is the home coach. If the home coach does not want to comply, you warn them and then you dump them. Any questions on that? They're just fixing a rule that's been understood to be the way it's now written for 20 years. No judgment. Did anybody ever enforce this rule? One time. How'd that work out for you? Oh, absolutely. So, okay, that's a great point. There are times where we as umpires want to see the baseball. Okay, if you have a ball that goes off the end of the bat, how hard is it to take 6 or 8 steps out towards the plate? Hey, pitcher, can I see that baseball? Have him throw it and give him a new baseball. And then while you're going back to the plate, check the baseball. It went off the end of the bat. We don't know if that baseball's damaged. Granted, I mean, we can all make the joke that none of them are going to know what to do with it if it is caught. But it's a hustle thing, and it builds credibility. So this rule is gone. I don't know any. I mean, Dennis, you're the first guy to tell me that they've tried to enforce this rule, because I thought, honestly, I thought they got rid of this rule a long time ago. Okay, lightning. Review the lightning policy. Obviously, it's 30 minutes from each strike. Do not be in a hurry to whack games. I don't expect you to be there till midnight, but if it's going to be something that's going to move through real quick, that's an hour delay, sit tight, get the game in. For a couple of reasons. One, you're going to look a lot better. Like the communication of I really care about this game goes through the roof if you're just, yeah, we'll wait and give it some time. I mean, there is the joke, if you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes. So the one thing I will add, they have this note in here. I mean, I remember some nights when I'm out at like Harmony, or Harmon's kind of one because you're up on that hill. I mean, I've been able to see storms in the atmosphere that, I get done, I go look on the radar, and it's like, that's down south of Omaha. So do note that part of the rule. It's not 4, it's 5. Yeah. Yeah, if you get a game, if you say, yeah, 4 innings, we're done, and they want to sit and say, oh, we don't want to pay this guy, I have a really hard time justifying that and like defending you guys. And I'm not saying that anybody in here would, but it's a pain. The more that we can do to avoid headaches for Mark, for Jay, myself, and the rest of the board, the better. Because the last thing I want to do is wake up in the morning to, and there have been days where I have woken up to 3 missed calls from Mark, and we had an absolute meltdown of a night. So please help make our job a little bit easier. As far as Legion says 8 miles. If you see it and it's close, better safe than sorry. These kids are not playing with wood bats. They literally have a lightning rod in their hand, and they are grounded. So right. So we have the policy is no phones on the field. That is the policy of the SDUA. That's what we follow. when I know we have a potential for lightning, I will have my phone on me. And I just put in the dugout and I communicate to the coaches, hey, this is what I'm doing. Because it is, you know, if I do run into a situation where I have to figure out what's going on with the weather, I don't want to be using a coach's phone. So I carry my phone on the field with me. That's a great point. Yep. If you have a site manager, so you're working a tournament out at Sanford, if you're working a Harmondon tournament, there's usually a site manager there. They have the authority here. But if you see something and you know in your gut that this is an unsafe situation, the buck stops with you. Stop the game. Yep. Yeah. Call time. When in doubt, call time. Err on the side of player safety. At the end of the day, this is a safety rule. And I realize not everybody is, almost 6.5 feet tall like me, but I'm, out of everybody in this room, I'm probably the first one to get hit by lightning because I'm the tallest guy in here. Just under 6.5 feet. Just under. It's warm up here. Heat rises. All right. This was a point of emphasis from last year that was enforced wildly inconsistently. If you worked the Dakota Classic, everybody got my nasty gram because this is an issue. This is not coming from us. This is coming from the state. And I will endorse this 100% because we are paid to enforce the rules. I made a guy in a 16U Class B game put on a helmet, and it was funny because it did not fit, and it was just the goofiest thing around. If they have to share helmets, I do not care, but do not. If you are doing a level where it is required that a coach has a helmet on, make them wear it. Because one of the easiest ways to get under Mark's and my skin, aside from turning back games at the last minute, is, and Roush, I'm going to just pick on you today. Okay? So Otto and I show up after Roush does a game. And I don't even know who Roush's partner was. I don't care. And, I look at the coach and I said, where's your helmet at? Well, the last guy didn't do it. Okay. Noted. I understand that. We'll take care of that. But the rule is you have to wear a helmet. So if you want to be on the field, you got to wear a helmet. Well, but no, I don't care. Make them wear helmets. It's not that big of a deal. The golden thread of this rule, if you are using NFHS rules, they do not have to wear a helmet. And that is as stated in here. Yes. If you are, yes. Legion and Junior Legion. The Legion Junior Legion rulebook is based off of OBR. OBR requires helmets for coaches. And for some reason, amateur doesn't require it. Okay. So know what rule set you're working because that also affects our box an immediate dead ball or are they delayed dead ball? Do you have type 1 obstruction available or do you just have type 2 obstruction available to you? Does everybody know what Class A schools our organization assigns for? Not always. Okay, hang on. I'm going to do this. And hey, Jay, sometime what we should do is we should update this map because I have it saved and we should color code Class A, Class B to try to help. So don't, I'll do it. Just don't let me forget. Okay. Watertown, Brookings, 307, Brandon, Harrisburg, all of Sioux Falls, except Sioux Falls Christian. Yankton, which isn't highlighted because we don't assign for Yankton. Mitchell, Huron, Aberdeen, all the Rapid City schools, Pierre, Sturgis, Spearfish. I think that's it. Those are the Class A schools. When in doubt, ask. Are you VFW or are you Class A? Because about 15 years ago, the VFW split and Class A was created, and then VFW was created. Even though Class A is still sanctioned and sponsored by VFW, it's super confusing. Home rules. Okay. Do we have any other questions about helmets or anything else that we've talked about? They don't have. Yep, they don't have to have ear flaps. Generally, no. Check with your tournament director. If you're working for, I mean, like class, like okay. What he said. So, correct. But do double check, okay? And if there's a situation that we have where we need to communicate that stuff's not being handled, let us know, because the last, like, if I get a phone call that, Rich Cotterba went to Harrisburg for a Legion game, and Abe said that the night before Roush didn't make him wear a helmet, we're going to have a problem. Don't be that guy that creates situations that the next crew has to come in and fix. Because I will be that guy to come in and fix stuff, and I will fix it. And I'm picking on Roush because I know that Roush will come in and fix it too. Huh? Fair enough. All right. Any other questions? Comments? No? Fantastic. All right. I'm going to shut the recording off, and I'll do a master file demo later as far as that'll be recorded.